And we've got Mr. Babatunde Ogala, who joins us this morning. He is the former chairman, Judicial Committee in the Lagos State House of Assembly, a legal practitioner, and also a member of the APC. Thank you for coming on this morning.
It's my pleasure. Good morning.
Well, there are many who asked, of course, different questions about this kind of matter, but the president's letter, do you think he should have written, perhaps seeking that, look, we've looked into this matter on the part of the SGF, and so go ahead and clear him?
I think for the SGF, I would say the Senate failed in its responsibilities. First, I've read the president's letter, I have it here, and the president has not said you were right or wrong. It has only pointed out their procedural errors. One, a legislature takes resolutions to the executive. You do not send interim reports. Please mark my words. Interim is what the Senate allegedly an incomplete report, a preliminary report. That's the way they titled it. That is what they sent. Today I can hear them out yesterday saying they will consider it in their final report. So suppose the man had been sacked based on your interim reports, and your final reports now proves that it's not even liable.
Okay, is it just to follow up on that one,
yes.
Is it that the Senate or legislature cannot take a decision based on an interim report, and that the executive arm of government cannot also take a decision based on an interim report?
Look, interim, incomplete. Now you are talking about a final report. Point number two, you do not send your reports. When reports are presented in a legislature, you then adopt it and present your resolutions. So it becomes a resolution of the Senate. Then, three, the presidency also points out that based from the interim report and the votes of proceedings, it would appear to it that the SGF was not invited, or the company that allegedly used to compromise his office. Please note, I'm not exonerating or condemning the SGF. I am concerned with the approach of the Senate, and the president rightly educated them. That your votes and proceedings and your interim report did not suggest that this man was given a fair hearing.
Which they countered, saying there were publications, he was invited, he sent the secretary of PINE.
No, I heard Shehu Sani saying that, which I think is an abuse of parliamentary privileges.
Is it that what he said is not true?
Look, you are talking about, the presidency said your votes and proceedings and your interim report is not what you say on the floor. You are dealing with a third party. The presidency will not rely on newspaper reports, on TV reports. It works.
That was for inviting the SGF.
Let me make myself clear, Chamberlain. The president's letter said your votes and proceedings and your interim reports did not suggest. So what are the lies? Is it saying that it is in the interim report? Is one thing to tell the floor of the assembly that we did A, B, and C. You are talking to your colleagues. But the moment you are dealing with a third party, it's a different cup of tea. And you have not said the president should investigate the SGF. You have made an order, sack and prosecute. So you are now expecting this president to sack and prosecute based on what, as it has been pointed out now, and the president has not even rejected their reports or their resolution. Well, he has not foreclosed anything. He has only advised them that take this into consideration when considering your final reports.
But then the big question is, he did that so that they could clear him?
No. But we're talking about the SGF now.
Yes, we'll come to that in a minute.
Yes.
About the invitation of the SGF.
Yes.
Are you saying that what the Senate committee and the Senate did, that they didn't give him fair hearing? Is that your point exactly?
I'm not in a position to know.
No, because we looked at the letter from the president and the response from Senator Sani.
On the floor.
Yes,
on the floor.
Haven't seen both, because he was responding to what the president said in his letter
he said
about fair hearing.
He said the president lied and all that, that they sent a letter to the SGF with the permanent secretary acknowledged and all of that. I heard him say that. But I'm trying to confine myself to what is contained in your report. And that is why I say, what you say on the floor of the Senate, it's not the same thing as what you are communicating in a document with a third party who is not a member of your legislature.
The Senate was an interim report, and they should not have acted on it. And the letter from the president did raise that much notice. But it's also published, I mean, the dailies all have that as well, that it was in 2015 when the president, there was this presidential committee that was set up to investigate the utilization of funds for the procurement of arms by the past administration. Yes. It was an interim report that was released with which they did indict and began the trial of that circuit. So it's the same thing that they've done, both of them.
You see, Chamberlain, the presidency setting up its own committee and proceeding based on the report presented to it.
Interim.
No, sorry. Interim, I don't call it whatever name you like. I note your emphasis on that. But trust me, that is not the... It now went further to refer the cases to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to investigate the alleged infractions that may have been contained in the interim report. In this case, and sorry, it is a parliament, not an administrative function of the executive.
And that's
it is a parliamentary resolution, almost akin to a court order, that has said, you should not say go and investigate, go and sack and prosecute.
Aren't we jumping the gun here? And aren't we here seeing double standards here within the executive arm? If this is what it is, first, you did say it is an interim report.
Yes.
And Chamberlain also pointed out another interim report that emanated in 2015, which this same government is still acting on at the moment concerning the procurement of arms. And if you also put this, why didn't the government, now we're talking about the presidency, wait for the outcome of the committee or the panel set up by the Attorney General of the Federation on this matter before writing the letter?
Excuse me, did you read the letter at all? You obviously did not. The president in his letter said he set up a review committee headed by the Attorney General of the Federation to advise him, and he has not foreclosed anything. He has said, look, if you permit me to read, I will read to you. The report filed by the presidency by the Senate, which informed the decision of that should resign, be prosecuted by the relevant authority, was an interim report, blah, 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 blah. It goes further.
That shows that the presidency was too forward on this. They should have waited for the outcome.
Your opinion, but let me express mine. Let me express mine.
I'm asking, why didn't they wait for the outcome? Because that's how they've always worked, and that's how they've always operated.
Outcome of what?
You don't in the middle come up with a letter and try to exonerate.
Outcome of what?
You don't in the middle wait and you come and you exonerate. You seem to be exonerate, and that's what the presidency seems to be doing.
Should have waited for the outcome.
Because in the fight against corruption that the presidency is leading, one would see this as shielding his own men.
No, sir. No, sir.
Why did you say
no?
Was this also referred to the EFCC?
What? Look, please, Suleiman. The Senate resolution.
It wasn't also referred to the DSS because, for instance, if we stretch it to Magu's, I'll let you respond, because if we stretch it to Mr. Magu's own, matter, it would seem as if even his own agency, that is the DSS, I think the report there is something that the president shouldn't just discard.
Suleiman, if I just might continue, this Senate resolution did not say investigate. This Senate resolution says sack and prosecute. Please note, based on that interim report, sack and prosecute. So the presidency, in attempting, the president has also said in his letter that from your reports, from your votes and proceedings of that day, nowhere did it suggest that the man was invited. Nowhere did it suggest that the company was given a hearing, and that is the company that formed the fulcrum of your resolution.
We'll hope that we'll come to that point in just a moment. But could you tell us about what were you going to say about the president's referring to the AGF report?
The president said in his letter that you record our letter as far as Senate blah 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 noticed that Ogala haven't contravened finding of guilt.
Is that the AGF's report?
No, the president's letter.
Yeah.
He also, following the third letter, I set up a review committee to consider the recommendations from the Senate committee. I've also conducted further review based on the Lewan's response to the allegations and issues raised in the Senate resolution. So he has said, of course, we all know the review committee was headed by the AGF. That was public knowledge. And that they have advised that based on that report and the votes and proceedings of the House, of the Senate, that is what he has acted on.
Okay.
That nothing suggests that Engineer Lawal was invited. Somebody can come on the floor to say the president lied.
Okay,
that's it's not your Senate. It's not your Senate.
That's the report.
It's your word of mouth.
That's the report
it's
of
not in your document.
the AGF's report.